All right, hey guys, it's me, Everett, and I want to make a quick video because, well, sometimes I don't like being right. Sometimes it's a drag being right. And if you go back to Facebook, I don't know if you're watching this on Facebook or LinkedIn or YouTube or whatever, but I'm not hard to find on Facebook. If you go back to Facebook and you scroll back through my posts to the end of 2021 and the beginning of 2022, you'll see I was saying that it was going to be a tough year. There was going to be some recessions. There's going to be a recession, recessionary pressures. There's going to be some issues as far as cash flow, as far as money, commerce, business, and lo and behold, I was right. Now, it was not as bad as I expected, which actually is not great news. I'll tell you why in just a second. But it was definitely, we definitely moved into a recession. I know the whatever the official sanctioning body that declares recessions didn't officially declare recession, but for 4,672 years, there's been a definition of recession as I think it's 2 quarters of reduced growth, 2 quarters of shrinking GDP. And so we had 2 quarters of shrinking GDP, and they said, oh, well, there's other things to take into account. Okay. Yeah, sure, whatever. We had a recession, probably still in a recession. Inflation off the charts. I know they were reporting it as high as 18%. If you look at Shadow Stats, John Williams, Shadow Stats, Shadow Stats, is it Shadow Stats, Shadow Government Stats, shadowstats.com. Look it up, John Williams, Shadow Stats, Google it, you'll find him. You'll actually see that that inflation was, if calculated the same way they calculated in the late 70s, early 80s, it was much closer to 17%, 18% up that high. They've made all kinds of hedonic adjustments, they call them, to inflation to make them seem smaller. So we had a tough year. Now, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, but that's not great because, frankly, it's the tough times that reset the economy. So now we're moving into 2023, actually starting into 2023, and the chances are that this year is going to be even worse than last year. It's been easier just to get through it, be able to start again, but that doesn't seem to be what's happening. They are trying, they meaning the economic powers that be, are trying to keep the economy together, keep it from falling away, keep it from dying. So we are now in a situation where Jamie Dimon, Michael Burry, you may remember Michael Burry from The Big Short. He's made famous by The Big Short. He was kind of the eccentric genius that saw the collapse coming and started shorting the housing market. He was a little early, but he ended up making, gobs and gobs and gobs of money when he shorted the housing market. Who else? Jamie Dimon, Michael Burry, Peter Schiff. Of course, Peter Schiff does have a tendency for calling for recessions every year. However, just like the Starks, Schiff is... eventually Schiff is always right because his underlying philosophy is correct. So he may not know all of the machinations, but he does understand where it eventually leads. And so yeah, we got all kinds of heavy hitters. James Rickards used to work for the CIA, was the head counsel at Long-Term Capital Management, where he negotiated a bailout. He helped negotiate a bailout that almost, had the bailout not happened, and almost would have pulled down the entire world's banking system. So he's consulted with the CIA, et cetera, et cetera. So we're talking about heavy hitters. We're talking about people who know what the hell they're talking about and are all saying 2023 is going to be tough. The only bright side is that the Fed says 2023, there's an increased chance of recession, and the Fed has a tendency to be wrong. So that's actually a point in our favor. We might add, but I'm not so sure that it's a great point in our favor in light of everything else. So yeah, it's going to be tough. Now, here's my point. When we actually moved into a real recession, the quote-unquote Great Recession of 2008, 2009, 14% of small businesses closed. That's not 14% of small businesses, of new small businesses. That was 14% of small businesses across the board. That would translate today into 455,000 small businesses all across the country shutting down, going away. That is a major hit to small business. Here's the good news. For the ones that survive, there's a lot of business, a lot of quote-unquote orphaned clients and customers, a lot of business to pick up, a lot of business to expand. The market shrinks slower than the competition. That's how this always works. So what's the secret to staying open, to staying thriving, to staying up and running during a massive recession? And the secret is to increase, according to the data, the secret is to continue your growth, your sales growth of your gross sales, your gross revenue by 20%. Increase your gross revenue by 20%, and you come through fine. Now you say, well, of course, if you increase your gross revenue by 20%, you come through fine because you're making more money. Not necessarily. I mean, let's face it, gross revenue does not translate all the time into gross profits. It's very possible that your cost of sale goes up. It's very possible that, that your cost of materials go up. It's very possible your cost of fulfillment goes up. So just because your sales increase 20% doesn't mean you're 20% more profitable. You may be equally as profitable. You may even lose a little profit in the middle of the recession. But the important part is that your sales went up, which means that you're doing more business, which means that you have the money to continue so that when you come out of the recession, you can then be more profitable. You can then grow your business dramatically. But 20% seems to be the magic number. If you increase your gross sales 20% during the recession, you come out of the recession just fine. And that brings me to the point of our call today, or of the video today. And that is my double your sales in 12 months consulting package. It's a new package I just put out. I'm still testing it. I'm not testing it as far as whether it works. I know it works because I've used the exact formula that I'm going to share with you, the exact process I'm going to share with you over and over and over to double and redouble and triple and retriple business profits, business gross sales and businesses, to grow businesses, my own businesses, other people's businesses. I've done it over and over and over again. I mean, we started in one business. I started as a startup, and in 16 months we wrote $1 million of business following this process. Another business I bought into was doing $200,000 a year in business, and what's that? That's $200,000 a year in business is approximately $4,000. It's approximately $16,000 a month in gross sales. That was in August of 2010. In 2012, our gross sales were just shy of $160,000 a month. That's $156,000, something like that a month. So that was almost a 10 times multiple. And we started in October 2010. That was in 2012. So a year and a few months. 10 times multiple in average monthly sales. I started working with the company, and eventually they gave me part of the company. But I started working with the company, and when we started, it was doing, I don't remember, $10,000 a month in sales or something. And over the next 10 months, we averaged $75,000 a month in sales, $750,000 a month in gross revenue, gross sales, receivables in a 10-month period. And that was the 10 months that I started with them. And make no mistake, the first month we weren't doing 75,000. So that means the last month we were doing substantially more than that. So I don't have the numbers on me right now, so I apologize. But point is, we were doing real well. So here's my point. I've used this exact process over and over and over again. I've used it with my businesses. I've used it with my clients' businesses. I know it works. And it will get you through the recession. Why? Because if you have 20% growth, then you get through the recession fine, according to the numbers. If you have 100% growth, you get through the recession even better, even more prepared to grow your business exponentially during the recession and after the recession. It becomes very, very, very easy to do once it's all boiled down and we plug it into my formula. So listen, if this sounds at all interesting to you, then click the link in the comments or in the description, depending on where you're watching this, and schedule a time for us to talk. It take about a half an hour. It's not a big deal. There's no pressure. I'll explain to you what the process is. I'll explain to you how the formula works. I'll explain to you what the consulting arrangement involves, what I deliver to you, what you can expect from me, guarantees. If you go with the consulting, I guarantee you that if you follow the program, you will double your sales. If you don't, I'll give you your money back. So you can't lose. You either double your sales or you get your money back, one of the two. So if you 80% your sales, if you add instead of 100%, if you only add 80%, you get your money back and you have much stronger sales. So, but the reason I can say that is because I know if you follow the program, you will double your sales. So anyway, click the link, schedule a time. Remember, 2023 is going to be tough, but with the right mindset and the right strategy and the right process, it can also be really, really great. So talk to you soon. Cheers.